That is a big tile. Oh, it is very, very hot outside, and these tiles are quite large and quite heavy. Oh, just catching my breath. This is the first time that we've seen these tiles since whenever it was, months ago, when we actually went to the factory, and they're amazing. They look so good. The brushing that we did over the top of them has really kind of brought out some of the colours and the textures, and a really nice kind of smooth finish, even though there is a bit of texture to it. The first step in this whole process is going to be a bit of a dry fit. We've got a pattern, and it is probably one of the most complicated tile patterns that you can do. And it's a small room and they're very large tiles. So we're going to just start by kind of laying some out on the floor and seeing how we go. And interestingly, the decision to do this pattern is actually inspired by somebody else's YouTube channel who is actually a viewer and friend of the show. Hi Carl Rogers, thanks very much for making our life really difficult by doing an amazing tiled floor in your French farmhouse. It looked so good that we wanted to copy it, but now I'm kind of regretting going for such a complicated pattern. But I think it is going to look amazing when we're done. So yeah, let's see how we go. So yeah, I'm going to see if we can get the big one into the corner. I'm sure it's not going to fit perfectly, but we'll see and do the best that we can. Oh, they are heavy.
I mean, they're not fragile, so...
Yeah, I don't want to drop them though. Just so you know what we're going to be doing, I'll show you the diagram, because then it will make a bit more sense.
So the tile pattern that we've gone for is something called Opus, and it's got 4 different sizes of tiles in an overlapping design. There are 2 very large tiles, 4 quite large square tiles, 2 long thin rectangular tiles, and 4 quite small tiles. And when you put them all together, it kind of looks like this. Now the room that we're working in is just 2.4 by 2.4 meters. Given the dimension of the tiles that we've got, this is how much space they take up in the room. So we don't need too many more than just this, but we do need some extras, and we will need to cut a few of them as well. But that is the plan, and we've actually mapped out how all the tiles are going to lay out across the entire ground floor in Photoshop, but we're just going to be working on this small room today.
So we are mostly done with our dry fit of the whole tiles, at least, the ones that we don't have to cut. And as we were doing it, we were using the little spacers to try and get all the lines as neat and tidy as we can, because we like to do that kind of thing. And something interesting came up. Well, it's interesting for us. It's probably only interesting to you if you ever want to tile a floor like this. But because of the way the pattern works, you've got different sizes of tiles that all kind of interlock together but all overlap each other. And so in some cases you have like 3 grout lines to the bottom edge of a tile, and sometimes you have 2. And if you have even grout lines, they don't line up. And so we did a bit of Googling, and we found a great tip, which is to lay all the big tiles and leave the small ones out, and then just kind of position the small one in the middle of the gap. And if it's got slightly smaller grout lines, you won't really notice because it's a smaller tile. So that is what we are going to do. We've laid all the big ones, we've kept all the small square ones to the side, and we'll fill those in later. And the other nice thing about doing that is that there's little holes in the tiles that we can walk through if we need to go to the other side of the room before we're finished. But yeah, it was a puzzler to us, and so we have now brought you the solution via the internet. So thank you, internet. You're very helpful indeed.
Good side or the bad side, it probably doesn't matter in terms of it's going to be against the wall.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that feels better. Bring it so that the biggest part of it, It's going to take some time.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to go find another disc. can move the tile down this way a bit.
Yep. Nicely done. Nice one. It's good when you've got almost the right tools. Good morning. It is a new day, and yesterday we completed all of the dry fit. We cut all of the tiles that we need to size, and everything is looking fantastic. So today the plan is to try and get it all laid, and so I've mixed up a batch of tile adhesive, which is actually exactly the same stuff that we used for laying the limecrete floor. We've got a mix of NHL5 and some coarse sand, and I think we're pretty much ready to go. But first we actually have to remove all the things that we put down yesterday.
You just have to be careful when you walk through, not flying into any of them. Do you want these ones softed up on their edges?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Can I move this camera then?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky to film all this, isn't it? Turn it off and move it if you want. Okay. I'm using
Quite well.
run out of places to stand as well.
Well, I have a suggestion.
Okay. First interesting thing, the notch trowel does not really work.
Why not?
I guess because this is not like a regular adhesive. That's interesting.
No, don't use a notch as well, just spread it out and lightly go over it with a notch. Oh, is that how you get your level though? Your height?
Okay, this is interesting.
That doesn't tell me anything.
So it's not behaving anything like adhesive.
Because it's not.
Because I know it's not. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work, even though it's what the instructions say. Yes.
But I think you're trying to do it like an adhesive, but it's not an adhesive. As in, the method is probably very different.
Yeah, maybe it is.
It's just kind of spread it out, roughly get it the right height,
Okay.
bed it in, and then level off of that.
I might need to go and consult the internet.
Okay.
Let's put that back in there for a minute. Undo. Undo. I've also worked out the second reason to put shoes back on.
Get lines out of your feet.
Yeah. Right, we have consulted the internet again, and we've got a completely different plan now. And it's interesting, this is actually one of the things that I have done before, tiling, but I've never done large format tiling, and I've never done natural stone tiling. And so it turns out those two things are quite different to what I've done before. So the new plan is no notch trowel, a continuous bed of lime mortar that's what, 15 mil thick-ish?
12 to 15.
Yeah, so half an inch plus or minus. A continuous bed, wet down the floor, wet down the back of the tile. No putting adhesive on the back of the tiles.
It's not adhesive.
I know it's not adhesive, but you
Mortar.
know. No mortar on the back of the tiles, which is something that you would typically do if you were doing ceramic and maybe porcelain in this kind of large size. So yeah, it's completely different. But it doesn't matter, we can just consult the internet and it tells us all the things that we need to know. Sometimes it's conflicting information and that is challenging to work through. But in this case, I think we're good to go again.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So it's 21 degrees in here and 76% humidity.
I guess that's why it feels warm.
Yeah. Did you feel my glove?
No.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think so.
The ones that were hanging up on the scaffolding.
No. These are in my pocket.
I found them for it.
£60 by 90.
Good work. Yep.
Very useful.
Do you need a hand to get it in? Yes. So
Maybe.
if you step back where you were.
Over here.
No, over to the right. Down and then push. Yep.
You let go? Good.
Yep.
I don't think that's enough mortar.
Okay. You just tell me where you think you need it.
Got some coverage there. So yeah, in that corner. Okay. Needs to come up a bit on. No, it's too high on this side. I'll try and tap it down. It's a bit high on this side. So let's see.
It's very dry now.
Yes, exactly.
I'm taking this hoover out of here.
Yep. Undo. So I didn't think we were going to use much tile adhesive, and so I just did a small mix. I think half what I would normally do in the blue barrel, but I had an entire bucket for one tile in the mortar bed, and so because the mix wasn't wet enough and there wasn't enough of it, we're going to do it in the proper mixer. And hopefully in the near future we actually have a tile laid, because it's almost lunchtime and I was not expecting this to be the difficult part. Well,
Okay.
that's definitely a wetter mix.
Yeah.
It looks like it's much better mixed, like it's
That's
combined
why,
a lot more.
yeah, with the mixer I think it gets a bit,
Oh,
yeah,
look at
that's
that.
better. But we need to use just one tile's worth at a time so it doesn't dry too much.
Yeah.
Shall I go and spray everything down so that you can bring that in and then?
Yeah,
we can
I'll just
chuck
bring a bucket's worth.
it? Yeah.
Take 3. It feels more like plaster now, which is great. I think definitely an improvement.
So you think wetter and stickier?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Come in.
Out of the way.
Can you take that in? Yep.
I can put my hand in. Yep. And lift up. Yep. Yep.
That feels better.
Yeah, that does, huh? There's a little bit of a gap under here. There's the trail. There's the small bit.
Oh, and it's level this time. Oh yeah, we can just kind of feed a bit in like that. That is beautiful. Success.
This will dry with a different style.
Yes, it might do that.
I mean, this is already under the heat pumps. You're not going to see it, but we need to be careful.
Good to test it out. There's a bit here that I want to get off. Yeah, nice. That's great. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, cool. You got it?
That's much lower. So you see that? Oh no, maybe that's
That's
okay.
okay. I need to get some space.
Bases.
Looks good.
Yes.
Yep. Yep, nice. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to drop it. Just out of interest, could you bring the notch trowel? Because now that we've got the right consistency, I wonder if it will work. Thanks. I'll just use the small one so we don't have to clean too much if it doesn't. No. There you go.
So we both need to get anchored in. We got it.
Got it. So, quick update on the tiling situation. We're almost done, but we've just run out of mix, which is really annoying because we only have 2 tiles left, and they're not even whole tiles, they're cut tiles. Something else which is a little bit annoying, 2 things actually. One is we're out somewhere compared to our dry fit, and so the last cut tile that needs to go in here is a bit too tight, so Kylie's going to recut that one while I mix up like a hand mix batch for the last 2 tiles. And something else that is annoying that we've only realised through doing this and getting this far is we should have used bigger tile spacers, because in the places where we've got the really small tiles where we're trying to keep the pattern and have all the grout lines line up, they are too small. So in some cases probably just a couple of millimeters, maybe 3 millimeters, which is a bit tight I think. So from this room onwards we'll probably use a bigger spacer, probably 10 mil, because then we'll have plenty of wiggle room when it comes to making the pattern fit. 1 small mix, 1 small cut, and then we're done. So what do you think? Pretty nice, eh?
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I was a little bit skeptical because of the, I'm going to call it grain, but it's not really a grain in a tile.
It kind of is grain though.
Yeah, I mean, so let's call it grain. I was a little bit concerned with the design because it has some tiles that go this way and some tiles that go that way, that the grain wasn't going to line up and it was going to look messy. It actually looks really nice. We also used a specialist grout, which can also be used for laying the tiles in, but we couldn't get delivery of that in time. So we just used it for the grout, and so it comes out, it's still based on NHL, and it comes out a really nice beige colour, which works perfectly with these tiles. We were a little bit worried that we were going to see, or it was going to highlight where we didn't leave enough grout line around the tiles, but it has made it blend in so nicely. Very, very happy. So the things that we have outstanding to do, we haven't put down, we have some special skirting tiles, and we won't do that probably until everything is in here, including units and things. And the other thing is we haven't sealed it, and we know we need to seal it because limestone's very porous, and if you spill anything on it, it will just absorb into the stone. So any coffee stains, wine stains, anything that's got a tint to it would stain the stone.
I mean, how much wine are you drinking in the utility room while doing the laundry? Some,
I guess. You have no idea what I get up to when I do the laundry. But we don't want to do that yet. Number one, the tiles have to be 100% dry, and actually the grout in here is still drying a little bit. And also you have to have your room as low as humidity level as possible. And so for us that would mean actually having our ventilation system or running a dehumidifier in here. So we will put down some cardboard so that when the guys coming in to do the heat pump come in, they're not standing on the nice stone. Though I don't really think it's going to chip very easily.
It's pretty hard.
It's pretty hard. I mean, the brush has barely touched it in terms of creating the effect. But we will do that just to protect them until they are sealed. But yeah, it looks amazing. We learnt a lot, as usual.
Yes, we are very pleased indeed with how this looks, and it's amazing the amount of difference having a real floor down in a room makes. It really does start to feel like we're on the home straight in here, but we still have the rest of the place to do. But progress has definitely been made. Whilst we were in progress on the floor, we've also been working on the electricity and the water, ready for the heat pump install. And I am pleased to say that all of those things are done, and the heat pump is being installed tomorrow. It's quite incredible that we've pulled it all together. We will show you a little bit of what we did and maybe some of how we did it as well when we've got all of those things in place. But we're quite relieved that we managed to get it all done just in time. And so we're going to be sitting back, relaxing and watching somebody else do the work over the next couple of days as the team come in to install the heat pump, and we'll show you some of that stuff in the next video. But that's it for now. We will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.